Hey y'all, Detroit Autorama 2015, and Miranda built one of the Grade 8 winners, Street Machine of the Year winners, has showed up again this year with a 70 Charger. I think it's got a chance. Cool car. So anyways, let me get the camera turned around. We'll take a look at it. Jeremy, how are you, brother?
Good, Scotty. How you doing?
Outstanding. Glad to see you back at Detroit.
Yep, we made the trek once again.
Tell me a little bit about this hot rod.
This is a 1970 Dodge Charger we built for a local customer down in South Florida. The car was a pretty cool build. He came to us. This is a car that he had when he was young in high school, and he wanted to...
He had this type of car or this real car?
No, he had a 70 Charger, not this one, but had a 70 Charger in high school and wanted to build another one now that he's a little older and be able to afford the way that he wanted to build the car. And so here she is. It's got a lot of different body mods.
Let's start here in the front end. Tell me what you've done here.
Front end, the bumper on these cars, they have like a rubber insert that goes on the bumper that lays up against the fenders and trims out the hood and the fenders and all that stuff, almost like a gasket in a sense. We Frenched the bumper and pushed everything back, gap matched the bumper to the fenders and the hood. Also, the lower valance, you can see it's real super tight, tucked up against the bottom side of the bumper.
Now it's all custom made, or is those parts that you just fabricate, kind of adjusted?
Yeah, a lot of it was made actually. The sides of the bumpers were cut off and reshaped. The bumper was shortened from the left side to the right side because they did hang out a little bit off the body, so that's been changed. The bottom turn signals are from like a '69 Camaro that we cut out the valance and Frenched a bucket in there and put the lights in there. They did have lights down there from the factory, but they didn't look like that.
Right. They look like fog lights.
No, they're actually not. It's a parking light slash turn signal.
And what is that grill made out of?
The grill is actually fiberglass and plastic mold, and then the insert in the center is a CNC'd acrylic and then painted. Man. So it's kind of like a new car. It's all plastic.
Right on. And what color is that?
That color is actually a Ford CX color off a Harley-Davidson F-150. And then they make about 20 different variances of the color. Okay. So we changed the variants a little bit. So it's not the actual color. We made the metallic much more heavy. So it has a little more of a heavy flake in it, which looks...
So it's a custom mix on a stock color?
Yeah, it started off with the
And what
F-150.
size wheels are you running?
It's got a 20 by 8.5 wheel in the front and a 22 by 12 in the rear. Yeah, with a 335 rear tire.
And whose wheels are they?
They're shot wheels.
Did you do anything to the doors?
The doors, the only thing that's been changed on the doors is the body lines. The body lines have been accentuated around the front where the gills are.
Right.
The door
is a little deeper or something?
Yeah, a little bit, not much. They're maybe deep in maybe 3/16 of an inch, but just enough, just a little bit to accentuate them. Then the lines were sharpened up quite a bit. They're not quite that sharp from the factory. We shaved the key cylinder in the door, and then those are '69 Camaro Ring Brother door handles that we made work in the car. He had to have door handles. He didn't want the shaved door handles, which I understand. You know, getting locked out of your car sucks.
Right.
So.
Man, oh, dude, and this back here, that's all like late model Charger.
Yeah, what we did back here was we cut the center part from the factory. The 70 Charger had a left taillight and a right taillight. We cut the center out and made a one-piece taillight. That's also made out of fiberglass, the bezel, and then it's got a CNC machined piece of plastic, red acrylic, that has a prismatic lens behind it, and then it has 2 lengths of LEDs inside the taillight, which one is a running light, and then the second strip is broken in half, which is your left turn and your right turn. Wow. So it's all like works like factory in a sense.
Right. And is that the bumper that came on it that you had modified?
The bumper, yeah, the bumper is the factory bumper, but has been shortened on the sides, probably 1.5 inches on each side. Then it's been gap matched to the body. We opened the body up and made the gap real nice there. There was a piece of trim that went around the corner of the quarter panel that we took that off, and then we reshaped the corner of the quarter. So it kind of looks all molded in. Almost looks like it has a little wing on the back of the car, but it doesn't. You know, that's just the corner's been changed.
Too is that rear quarter panel and then the bottom valance looks like it's all one piece.
Yeah, there's usually a seam there. We welded the seam up and then we reshaped the corner, and then actually the bottom side of it is real shape. So if you look from the bottom of the car, the seam follows from the drop-off, the quarter drop-off, all the way around the back of the car. So it's real clean from the bottom side as well.
That's amazing, man. And then you got the exhaust coming out.
Yep, the exhaust tip, that was another thing that we did. We cut the lower quarter drop off and opened it up and then built an exhaust tip to fit in there. So I think it looks super clean. And
It's,
and
dude,
just,
it's so clean you wouldn't even notice it's there.
exactly. A lot of people look at
especially if it's on the ground. We're looking at it and it's 1.5 feet off the ground.
Exactly.
If it's on the ground, you wouldn't even see it. You've molded it in there. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
And it's the same. You didn't lengthen it or shorten it or do any of that kind of stuff?
None of that stuff hasn't been changed. All the rockers stuff is still this, factory. We didn't really change any of the major key points. Always wanted it to look like a 70 Charger. I didn't want to cut the car up and move a bunch of stuff around. The guy he's real happy with the way the 70 Chargers
Well,
look,
he had one, so he just wanted something to remind him of that.
Yeah, we just cleaned up a lot of the stuff on it that was never supposed to be that tight from the factory.
And then you put satin or so flat there in the middle.
It's got a matte finish on the hood, and then it's got a light bronze pinstripe breaking up the shiny to the flat. And then the bronze also carries through on some interior features, and the calipers too are also in the light bronze color.
What'd you do in here?
Oh.
What you have to ask.
The interior is actually a one-off design that we came up with the concept from Eric Brockmeyer and myself. Kind of rendered the inside of the car back and forth and got the ideas of what you see, and we turned to Jeremy Carlson at Extreme Performance, who built the interior. It's all one-off stuff. Starting with the dash. The dash is a one-off piece that was handmade. The inserts in the dash, this is actually made out of 3/4 acrylic that's been machined on a CNC machine. Then the bronze gauge bezels are separate also, so they're actually a contrast there. There's some bronze, some silver, and the gauges are flush mounted or loaded from the back side, so you don't see how the bezel from the gauge. And then we painted the bezel on the Autometer gauge bronze as well to match, so it looks like it's all one piece. Just a pretty nice design.
Dude, that is.
It's got the new Alpine 8-inch TV DVD navigation screen in it, which is pretty nice. It's a nice piece. Jeremy also built a really nice bezel that goes around that fits around the radio super tight, that's painted the bronze color, trims it out. Kind of looks like the radio's almost back-loaded in a sense. It doesn't look like it slides in from the front, which it doesn't. So that bronze piece is a pretty neat feature. That was all machined too on the CNC machine. That's most all these interiors, everything in here is made out of acrylic or plastic and machined. Nothing is really made.
So they
out
do
of,
it just like aluminum, start out with a block of acrylic?
Yeah, same thing, exactly the same idea. The nice thing, the way that he does everything in here, everything is either done with like a magnet system, so everything is magnetized together.
Right.
So it's like a new car. You can pull it apart many of times and not have to worry about
no clips and stuff like
breaking
that.
and stuff like. So that's really nice for serviceability.
Are those bezels and all are that way?
No, the bezels are not, but the whole dash piece, this whole dash piece comes out in one piece, which is really cool. Yeah, and then once you pull that out, you can get to everything behind it, which is awesome.
Right on.
So it's nice for service too.
Man, I love that light.
Yeah,
in the
that's
back.
a pretty cool thing that we worked on that Jeremy made. That's a piece made in a laser machine that he has, and it's actually engraved into a piece of 1/2-inch acrylic, and then it's backloaded with LED lights. So when you open the door, it serves as like a dome light for the inside of the car, more interior lighting in a sense, which is really neat. So that was another little touch that we came up with that really looks cool.
No, I really like that dash. And then what is it? I was over from that side. I thought it would be held on by screws. But
no, there's no screws.
No screws.
No, everything's magnetized. That whole piece snaps in with magnets.
I know you said that, but it just didn't register.
Yeah.
And then these are vents.
Yeah, those are AC vents. Yep.
How cool is that?
If you look at them up real close, they're actually done in a press, so they're not a flat vent.
No, they're not.
He made a wood jig on positive and a negative and pressed them in a press, which is pretty neat. So kind of give it a little more contrast. Going into the console, we used a push button start. He made this whole surround out of from scratch on the CNC. It's got cup holders the customer had to have.
Yeah, you got to have cup holders.
Yeah, had to have cup holders.
And then there's no indicator on the shift knob?
No, the indicator's actually in the dash between the speedo and tachometer. That lights up.
Right there. Oh yeah. And then we just pull it back and forward?
Yeah, this is actually a bump shifter. So that's reverse, neutral. So that works, that works pretty cool, and it's kind of a functional thing. We were gonna do a paddle shift setup on the column, but all the ones that we could find just weren't. They just really didn't look in place in a sense. They look out of place.
I got you.
You know, so we decided to
kept
do
everything
this idea.
clean.
Exactly.
Especially with an open steering wheel, you'd see those panels.
Yeah.
Where if it's a fuller steering wheel, you
Yeah.
kind of get hidden, you know?
Yeah. So, and all the other stuff is in here. This is the iPod cable, the air ride suspension, the vintage air controller.
So these
headlight
are
switch.
windows, not...
Yep, these are all
Okay.
windows. Yep, those are all window switches. And then all the stuff that you don't use all the time is hidden away. So,
Man, that is sweet. It's got cup holders in the back.
nope, no cup holders in the back.
That's still nice. Kind of a stock looking seat. Very comfortable, couch looking,
Yes,
you know what I'm
very,
saying? But
very
yet
comfortable.
cool.
Yep.
Man.
Works well. Really fits the car well.
That is beautiful. And then these door sills.
Yeah, the door sills were kind of a thing. We were all kind of bouncing ideas back and forth. I originally wanted to do a sill outboard on the rocker where you see it's painted, and Jeremy came up with the idea of doing it on the inside to trim it out, and then we came up with the Charge logo and the little ball milled hash marks in it, and then we painted it the bronze to match, which
Dude,
I
that's
think really came out cool. It's a nice touch when you open the door.
Very nice. I love them door panels too. Very simple. I like it, kind of like the door handles, like a brass kind of, you know?
That's actually a factory door handle from a Charger.
No kidding.
Yeah, factory door handle from a Charger, smooth, all the textures taken out of it,
Yeah.
and then it was painted the bronze, the flat
Were you
bronze.
sanded down or something?
Yep, sanded and painted flat bronze.
Again, very simple.
Yep, again,
Matter of fact, you didn't even put no leather or anything in it.
no, there's no upholstery in the trunk. The only thing that's in here is a trunk mat that we did just for the customer to be able to put chairs and stuff in here. All these panels are all made out of aluminum,
Right.
which is nice. And then they're textured to match the texture in the trunk. So
And
it's
it doesn't cover up the work. The work is so good that if you cover it in leather, you're really not highlighting your work.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true. I mean, we're kind of pride ourselves on doing the metal work to the best that we can, and the tubs are real nice. The edges of the tubs are rolled. They're not a square tub, so it's a round edge.
And you do all that yourself?
Yeah, we do all that stuff ourselves in
You
house.
do that impression in there too?
Yep, that's all bead rolled, that we do all that stuff in house, and there's no filler or nothing on the tubs. That's how they were, and they're just sprayed with a liner over the top, so all these panels are done the same way, just to match. So it
And
comes
then
out super clean.
Underneath here is just a satin.
Yeah, same thing. It's body color sprayed with satin clear, and then we shaved all the holes and all the pockets and everything, and smoothed it and painted it. Just again, a clean look. No need to build a leather panel to cover something up when you can make something really nice.
That's
And
right.
in my opinion, that's a little nicer, way to do it, where you can see it's actually raw and mechanical. And that's the theme we were going with the car, with a lot of the satin finishes and the aluminum and brushed and all that, where it's a little more.
Street machining.
Yeah, kind of neat looking.
Because it's a bigger car, more of a comfortable looking car anyhow, so that does add a nice touch. And like I said, the fact that you can actually see the work.
Absolutely.
It's top-notch work that you can actually see. It's not covered up. I think that was a great idea for you and for the car both.
Absolutely.
What do we got under here?
All right, we're looking at a Indy cylinder head, 572 cubic inch Hemi motor. It's got a Hogan sheet metal manifold on it that's got twin Viper throttle bodies.
That does look like a
Yeah, pretty,
Viper, yeah.
pretty neat. And then it's got a set of fabricated aluminum valve covers. Again, we stuck with the raw, machined look.
Right.
All the intake and the valve covers were left aluminum. They were Scotch-Brighted or brushed and then just cleared over. And we did it a little differently. We did the aluminum in here shiny clear,
Right.
instead of doing it a matte clear, to kind of offset just a little bit, to give it another finish inside the engine bay, but not adding color, just
Right.
adding clear.
Texture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just gives it a little more to look at.
And I like this hood. The first time I saw it, I was like, well, I don't know about the Dynamat. I don't know what it's really called, but whatever. But I like the fact, first of all, folks, notice how it's aesthetically right. It's not just cobble thrown in there. There's a lot of time in laying that mat out to make it
all
so
the logos match.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. And I like that because again, theme of the car is just to leave it a little raw.
Yeah. I don't think that every car needs to be sheet metaled and molded and smooth. I mean, that's great, but sometimes you can leave stuff like that, and I think if you do it tastefully, it works.
That's
and I think
right.
in this case it does work, and it works well, and for a car that's going to get driven, this is a good option for us.
And that
to do.
firewall,
Firewall again has been smoothed out, a little bit of sheet metal work, a little bit of bead rolling,
but
and
not
stuff.
overdone.
Not over the top.
Right.
You can go crazy with it,
Yeah, it looks like a factory clean firewall. It's like
that's it.
you must have filled some things or whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, it still has a firewall look about it. It's not just flat across there.
Yeah, it got a little body to it, and then we made the side panels here, all the closeouts. on the sides. We did some bead rolls and that. Tried to clean that up a little bit on both sides. You know, did some sheet metal work.
Just that
there.
little bead roll, in, like right here, little touches. Just
That's
add
it.
some texture, some kind of something to look at, you know?
Yeah, instead of a flat panel that has nothing, that little bit of touch is, I think it goes a long way. And again, it's just something to add to the uniqueness of what you're doing. You know, it kind of helps with the design.
Right on.
So in these two panels, the air box is underneath this first panel, and we you know, made a cover over the top of the air box, excuse me, has 2 panel filters in it out of a Z06 Corvette. So the
Okay.
air gets drafted in through the grill and right up into the panel filters. Then we made the cover plate.
Oh, I got you.
The MSD box is under there too. You can't see it. You know,
Right,
stuff
right.
like that. Stuff that you really don't want to look at.
Right.
Just put it underneath there. And
But
this,
instead of hiding it under the dash, you
yeah, you put it out here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
then the front closeout panel was just to hide the headlights and all the bracketry. If you know,
Where's the
Chargers.
radiator?
The radiator is actually underneath this panel too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just 4 screws.
Yep.
Yeah.
4 screws comes right out.
I just want to stand back and get y'all a nice walk around. Because, you know, when we're doing these interviews, we get up close to the car and all. I don't know if you ever really get to see the whole car. Man, that is cool. Them boys do a good job, man. They did that Nova last year. Like I said, you win a grade 8 and a Street Machine of the Year. Man alive. There you go, folks.
Jeremy, thanks so much, brother.
Thank you very much, Scotty.
Anybody we need, if people are interested in your shop, how should they get in touch with you?
You can go on to our Facebook at facebook.com/Miranda Built Inc.
Right.
Or you can follow us on Instagram at Miranda Built Inc. And then also our website, mirandabuilt.com.
Cool. Anybody we need to give a shout out to?
Special thanks to Tim Allen, Seth Patton, Jeremy Carlson, Tommy Nast. Couldn't do it without you guys.
Now, let's be clear, that's not the Tim Allen that's from from the TV show.
No, that's not. That's my right-hand man at the shop. So,
We've not reached, we don't have Tim Allen working for you yet.
nope, not yet.
Different Tim Allen. Jeremy, thanks, brother. You all rock it. Give the guys a high five down at the shop. Let them know I really appreciate their
Thanks,
work,
Scotty. I
man.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, take
folks,
care.
there you go. That's a 70, right?
70.
1970 Charger called Charged from Detroit Autorama 2015. See ya.